Hi everyone. Today I will discuss with you the topic of mastering life. Ever feel like you're caught in a relentless storm, with each day bringing a fresh wave of challenges threatening to pull you under? Imagine possessing a secret weapon, not to fight against life's inevitable storms, but to navigate them with grace and unwavering control. What if the power to dictate how life impacts you lies not in changing the external world, but in mastering your inner self? The ancient Stoics unlocked this profound truth centuries ago. And now, it's your turn. It's time to rise above the feeling of being controlled by life's unpredictable currents and boldly reclaim your personal power. This journey begins with a fundamental understanding, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, that will shift your entire perspective. 1. The empowering truth. Understanding what lies within your control. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, the very first step toward taking back the reins of your existence is grasping a vital truth: not everything falls within your dominion. This realization, while it might initially sound like an admission of defeat, is actually the gateway to profound liberation. The Stoics, with the insightful teachings of Epictetus leading the way, articulated a clear distinction between two realms of life: the realm of what is within our control and the realm of what lies beyond it. Far too often, we blur the lines between these two, expending precious energy on things we can never truly influence. Consider this: you cannot dictate the actions of others, manipulate the fluctuations of the global economy, or command the whims of the weather. These are external forces, operating outside the sphere of your direct influence. However, and this is where your power ignites, you absolutely possess the ability to control your responses to these external events. To put it simply, while you lack the power to halt the storm, you possess the unwavering capacity to choose how you navigate its turbulent waters. Picture this scenario: another driver abruptly cuts you off in traffic. The immediate temptation might be to succumb to anger, frustration, or allow your emotions to escalate into a full-blown spiral. Yet, the Stoics would gently remind you that the sole element within your control in that very moment is your reaction. You can consciously choose a path of peace, opt for understanding and empathy, or unfortunately, allow this fleeting incident to cast a shadow over your entire day. This seemingly simple choice, this conscious decision, is precisely where your inherent power resides. 2. The inner citadel. Mastering the landscape of your thoughts. If you've ever engaged in the futile battle of trying to suppress your thoughts, you'll know it's often a losing proposition. Your mind is a dynamic, ever-flowing current of emotions, desires, and knee-jerk reactions. But here lies a profound Stoic insight: while you cannot govern every single thought that flickers across the screen of your consciousness, you absolutely wield the power to determine the weight and significance you assign to each one. Seneca, another luminary of Stoic philosophy, wisely observed, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Reflect on this truth. How many times have you found yourself paralyzed by the chilling grip of fear, anticipating a negative outcome that ultimately never materialized? We often allow our minds to run rampant, conjuring worst-case scenarios and letting these imagined fears dictate the course of our lives. The true power, therefore, lies not in some unattainable goal of silencing these thoughts entirely, but in the conscious act of choosing whether or not to lend them your belief. Perhaps a thought whispers insidious doubts: I'm simply not good enough, or I'm destined to never achieve my aspirations. The key is not to engage in a direct confrontation with that thought, but rather to observe it with a detached awareness, acknowledge its presence without judgment, and then consciously decide to redirect your focus. You hold the power to dictate the extent to which these fleeting thoughts hold sway over your inner world and, consequently, your actions. This is where the invaluable practices of mindfulness and thoughtful reflection come into play. By diligently training your mind to anchor itself in the present moment and to refrain from dwelling on the immutable events of the past or the uncertain anxieties of the future, you actively reclaim control over your mental landscape. Each time you consciously dismiss a negative or limiting thought and replace it with a more positive, grounded, and realistic perspective, you fortify your ability to steer the ship of your life in the direction you intentionally desire. 3. The serenity of acceptance, embracing what lies beyond your grasp. Now, we arrive at a point that often presents a significant challenge. It is not sufficient to merely identify the boundaries of what you can control. You must also cultivate the profound wisdom to accept what lies firmly outside your grasp. This is arguably one of the most difficult lessons for human beings to truly internalize. Precisely because we are inherently wired to seek certainty and exert control over our environment, we possess a deep-seated desire to fix, to mend, and to influence every facet of our existence. However, the reality of life is that it is not always about fixing or controlling. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in acceptance. The Stoics eloquently taught that true inner peace does not stem from an attempt to reshape the world around us to fit our desires, but rather from a fundamental shift in our internal responses to the world as it is. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most influential Stoic emperors, would begin each day by consciously reminding himself that he would inevitably encounter difficult individuals, navigate challenging situations, and face obstacles that were entirely beyond his control. His chosen reaction was one of graceful acceptance, a conscious decision to meet these inevitable challenges with equanimity. When you wholeheartedly accept the things that you cannot change, you liberate yourself from the persistent frustration and internal conflict that arises from resistance. Imagine the profound sense of freedom that comes from waking up each day with the understanding that you are not required to wage a constant battle against the world. Instead, you embrace the reality that things will not always unfold according to your preferences, but you retain the unwavering power to choose your response to every circumstance. 4. The forging of inner steel, building resilience through adversity. Life, in its inherent nature, will inevitably present you with challenges. There is no escaping this fundamental truth. It is easy to succumb to the feeling that life is exerting undue control over you when difficulties arise and things deviate from your plans. But here's a crucial Stoic perspective to embrace: adversity is not a punishment, It is, in fact, a vital opportunity for profound growth. Every obstacle, every hardship you encounter, is a chance to cultivate and strengthen your inner resilience. Consider this simple yet powerful truth: without the presence of struggles, how would you ever develop inner fortitude and emerge stronger? The Stoics deeply understood that suffering is an unavoidable aspect of the human experience. However, what truly defines you is not the suffering itself, but the manner in which you navigate and respond to that suffering. When you confront obstacles, instead of viewing them as something life is maliciously inflicting upon you, consciously reframe them as valuable opportunities that life is presenting to you, a chance to actively practice virtues such as patience, perseverance, and wisdom. Resilience is not merely about passively enduring pain or hardship, it is about actively responding to it with wisdom, courage, and temperance. Each setback, each moment of adversity, offers you a unique opportunity to demonstrate these essential qualities. Qualities that will progressively render you less susceptible to the feeling of being controlled by the unpredictable nature of life. The Stoics recognized that their true power lay not in the illusion of controlling the external world, but in the tangible mastery of their own inner selves, their thoughts, and their reactions. 5. The power of now, embracing the present moment. The final, yet profoundly impactful, step in ceasing to allow life to dictate your experiences to wholeheartedly embrace the present moment. How frequently do we find ourselves dwelling in the shadows of the past, endlessly replaying past mistakes and harboring regrets, or projecting ourselves into the uncertain terrain of the future, consumed by anxieties about what might go wrong? The fundamental truth is that neither the past nor the future resides within the sphere of your control. The only tangible reality you possess, the only moment in which you can truly act and experience, is now. And yet, we often squander vast amounts of our precious time and mental energy outside of this present moment, either trapped in the labyrinth of our memories or consumed by the swirling anxieties of what lies ahead. The Stoic practice of mindfulness, which at its core is simply the intentional act of focusing your awareness on the present moment without judgment, serves as a powerful anchor, helping you to detach from the relentless pull of both the past and the future. By consciously anchoring yourself in the here and now, you cease to be passively dragged in every direction by external circumstances or internal anxieties. You actively regain control over your actions, your thoughts, and your reactions because you are no longer dissipating valuable energy on things that no longer exist or have yet to materialize. If you find yourself constantly preoccupied with worries about what the future holds or fixated on events that have already transpired, you are, in essence, relinquishing control of your present experience and allowing life to dictate your emotional state. However, if you consciously choose to focus your attention on the present, if you make the deliberate decision to live in this very moment with your full awareness and engagement, you become the undisputed master of your own experience. Conclusion. So, how do you effectively stop allowing life to control you and step into a position of empowered agency? The Stoics offer a simple yet profoundly powerful answer: By consistently remembering that life is fundamentally a series of choices, and you are the one holding the power to make those choices, the world may indeed throw obstacles in your path, but it can never, under any circumstances, take away your inherent ability to choose how you will respond to those challenges. By consciously focusing your energy on what you can control, diligently mastering the landscape of your thoughts, cultivating the wisdom to accept what you cannot change, actively building resilience through adversity, and wholeheartedly embracing the present moment, you progressively reclaim the power and sovereignty over your own life. This transformative journey is not always linear or easy, it requires consistent effort and self-awareness. However, it is undeniably and unequivocally worth it. Life does not have to control you. With the timeless wisdom of the Stoics as your guide, you can take back your freedom, cultivate inner peace, and reclaim the inherent power that resides within you. Are you ready to embark on this journey of self-mastery and take back control of your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What resonates most with you from these Stoic principles? Let's learn and grow together. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights on personal empowerment and ancient wisdom applied to modern life.